Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports here on Prime with me, Oric Wampovo. We start off straight from the UEFA Champions League, and with the new setup, there is always an early kickoff, one that brought a lot of surprises to football fans around the world, as Barcelona were held to a goalless draw at home against Slavia Prague. So we'll be coming back to give you what's been happening. That was the early kickoff there, and let's now take a look at the matches which are currently ongoing. And Liverpool are also being held at home versus Genk. Jurgen Klopp made 6 changes prior to this one. 1-1 stays. Salzburg took an early goal through Haaland, who became the youngest player or the teenager with the most goals in the Champions League campaign. He's now scored 7. Napoli equalized there 1-1. FC Barcelona, we just saw the highlights there, 0-0. And it's Conte's Inter Milan, who are leading Dortmund by 2-0. Zenit St. Petersburg, they lost to RB Leipzig in also the early kickoff. Lyon lead by 2-0. Second goal scored by Memphis Depay. And Chelsea, what's happening with Frank Lampard as he's losing at home 3-1 against Ajax. And Leo, Victor Osimhen, the Nigerian, he gave Leo the lead against Valencia. So it's edging towards halftime in these matches, and that's how things do stand. A lot could change in the second half of those games. But let's now come back to Ghana and talk about some Ghana football. And we know that the newly elected, president came in, and the next job, the last bit, was to reinstate or get a new vice president for the Ghana Football Association. And president of Nzima Kotoko has been elected the vice president of the Ghana Football Association. The Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association has elected Mr. Mark Addo, who is the president of Nzima Kotoko Football Club, as the new vice president of the GFA. Now, he beat off stiff competition from Randy Abe and Tony Obin. Mr. Addo polled 6 votes against Abe and Dr. Tony Obin, who had 4 votes and just 1 of the valid votes, respectively. Now, Addo, he will deputize as the GFA president. He will deputize GFA president Keto Kreku at the highest office of Ghana football up until 2023. Now, Randy Abe there, he narrowly lost out on that vice president race, but he's still optimistic that the Black Meteors could do well in the Under-23 African Cup of Nations to be held in Egypt.
Well, one of the problems we've had is that had to also do with the release of players. Because the Meteors fixtures are not FIFA-free days. And so we've always had difficulties in getting especially the foreign-based players that we really had wanted for those games, especially during the time that I was in there. So then you sometimes have to make do with what is available. There are times that some of the players defy their clubs. I remember the example of this gentleman who was playing for Udinese, the midfielder, Ajman Bedu. He had to defy his club, to come and play for us because it was a crucial game against Nigeria away and all that. So that had, also hampered the ability of us to put together, some formidable teams. But we still have to push on. We have another opportunity and we need to make good use of it.
Let's move to some rugby now, where Ghana's Eagles are expected and eager to soar higher in South Africa.
The Eagles of Ghana are currently in South Africa fine-tuning preparations for this year's Rugby Africa Men's Sevens. The tournament, which will be staged in Johannesburg, begins on November 8th. Ghana will battle 13 other African countries, including giants Namibia and Kenya, for the coveted prize. The Eagles, champions of last year's Bronze Cup, will be eager to make a big statement in South Africa. Here's head coach of the team, Love Mokuzorera.
In our exercises that we do every training session, we end with match situations. Whatever we do, maybe the first hour, we do drills, fitness, whatever we'll be doing in the first hour, technically, then we go into match situations. So at the moment, it's looking good. But the thing is, we'll be playing ourselves during the training session. Maybe we split into 2 teams, then we play against each other. We have limited the mistakes. That's one thing I'm sure of. From what we are doing at training, the mistakes are as little as possible. But it's a different ball game now when you play another opponent which you don't train with. Maybe the confidence will be very high.
Michael Akwe, a key member of the Eagles, is happy with the team's preparations for the 2019 Rugby Africa Men's Sevens.
The players are getting to know each other better, and then we are getting to know how each player who plays along each player's side plays. So we are ready for this tournament, and we've been to this tournament. I think this is the third time that we are going into this tournament, and we are in high spirits. We are not tensed as we used to be in the other tournaments. We are very cool. We are ready for any opponent that they will throw at us. We don't really mind talking of the Zimbabweans, Uganda, Kenya, whoever comes, we are going to play them.
Ghana Rugby has seen tremendous development under the leadership of Herbert Mensah. Thanks to his admirable vision and professionalism, Ghana is now a full member of World Rugby. Herbert Mensah expects the Eagles to give their all in South Africa.
When you win, we're happy. If you lose and you show that you are the warrior, people are proud of you. The nation is proud of you. That is the standard that we set. The rest we leave to God Almighty. The ball is not a football. It can bounce in any way whatsoever. Will it bounce in our favor or will it bounce away? You can't tell. All we can do is give you 1,000%. Make sure that our recovery is something that you didn't know was possible. Make sure that a teammate is with a teammate as you fight and you move. Then at the end of the day, we'll see what happens.
The 2019 Rugby Africa Men's Sevens will also serve as qualification for the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan.
That wraps it up for the sports segment here on Prime with me, Oreko Ampofo.